The Federal Reserve announced Wednesday it is raising interest rates by 0.75 of a percentage point. That is the sharpest increase since 1994. The Fed previously suggested it was likely to boost rates by 0.5 percentage point.
Holy crap, is this happening? Is it all over?
Dude, all of a sudden I'm like really scared.
Me too. You get the toilet paper, I'll get the water. Okay. What are we doing? We knew this was going to happen.
Dude, everything's going to be fine. There's a lot of cloud cover out there. Want to go fishing?
Yeah. Sweet. I'm going to catch some fish.
Hey everybody, you're kicking it with the Homeboys on the Homeboys podcast. My name is Clint Wetherell. We got a really exciting topic today. We are talking about interest rates, inflation, and is the sky falling? Oh no! I'm here with my buddy Scott Adams. What's up?
Life is good. Today is a pretty interesting topic. We're going to talk about, is it okay to sell some of your properties that you've built up that equity in them? You know, what to do to be ready for the drop that you and I think is coming, and what to do with your good assets, and should you be buying more right now? So some good stuff we're going to talk about today.
You said good assets, and you kind of were slow on the assets. I thought you were taking this show to like an entirely different spot.
PG,
I'm like,
baby.
Man, this is a family show. What
PG.
Are you doing?
We keep it PG on this show.
Well, speaking of family, your kids are back. They were on a vacation for a while, so you guys are back together for the summer and chilling and hanging out.
It's awesome. It's
Good.
awesome. Yeah, everything's good in my world. You and I got to spend a lot of time together last weekend, hanging around church.
Yeah, man, it was cool.
Yeah.
We got a ministry that we're part of, and we got to get involved in it. It was pretty sweet. It was a good kicking the asset for me.
Yeah.
You know, it
Yeah.
was good to be in that world, and I kind of needed it. I know you kind of said the same thing. But,
Yeah, something needed to get my asset moving.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, it was cool. It it's hot here in Indianapolis. It's
Yep.
about 100 degrees outside. You know, our studio's hot in here. Like, I mean, dude, it feels like the sky may be falling. I mean,
Right.
You know, it's hotter than the pits of hell in here.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Like when things happen in the real estate market or the economy in general, like how much it creates the phone ringing in the office, and
Yeah.
you know, people talking about it. So it's gonna be fun to speak on. I think that social media has kind of made us a Chicken Little type society.
Yeah.
I think that my past experience has kind of made me a Chicken Little. So, you know, sometimes I joke on here that I'm just an old fuddy-duddy fearmonger, you know, on here. But it's funny. You know, I do want to throw caution to real estate investors, but I'm pretty optimistic right now. I'm more optimistic than, you know, the general public saying, oh, my gosh, interest rates have went from 2 to 5 to 6. And, now I can't buy anything, and I'm kind of like, man, this is cool.
It's
this is good.
I was telling our producer at lunch that I feel bad about how good I feel about things maybe cooling off a little. That I know that if they cool off a lot more and there's a crash, I know that's going to hurt some people, and I hate that part of it. But at the same time, folks that are in our world can benefit greatly. You can make money in every type of market, including what we think is to come. And this cooling off, we think was needed. It may hurt the average American as far as their ability to buy more house than they already should, in our opinion, anyway. But for investors, this shouldn't be scary right now.
It's the opposite for me.
Well, for some investors, we don't mind them selling now and making those equity gains. I don't blame them. Selling a few, let me be clear there. The last thing you want to do is sell off all your great cash flowing assets right now, just trying to ring the register for a lot of reasons that we'll cover today. But first of all, you'll need them to see you through those tough periods. You want good cash flowing assets during times of uncertainty. So as greedy as you want to be, and we support ring the register once in a while, don't sell them all. I mean, be very selective, because you want these cash flowing assets through this period. In fact, not only do you want them, but we're going to talk about why you're going to want more of them as prices drop. We think an opportunity is coming.
Well, we believe in long-term holding of real estate.
Right.
I think of the Seinfeld clip with the
reservations.
The car. Anybody can just take them. Anybody can just sell their property. It's the holding.
It's the holding that matters.
It's the most
important.
The
holding that matters.
It's the most important part. Anybody can just take them.
I hear you. I get it. We get it. I don't think you do.
That's right. I don't think you do, because if you did, I'd have a car. But anyhow, I think that it's easy for people to listen to the news or social media and be persuaded by what they're seeing and what they're hearing. 5% interest rate is not that bad. It never should have been at 2%. It never should have been at 2%. And then people get to thinking, well, that's normal. That ain't normal. So we just talked about it on an episode of More on Real Estate that we did, where these people that that bought, there was a clip where someone bought, a property at $800,000 at 2%. And my argument is those people that are in at $800,000 at 2%, got in at the very tip top of the market, and they're going to be in with a 2% mortgage on a house that is worth $550,000.
Right.
So what's the difference that you buy a house at $550,000 and you've got a 5%, interest rate, or you pick which one is better or worse, but there's this balance that interest rates, low, overpay, interest rates high, get value. I mean, there's this fine line, and you've got to basically, to sum it all up, if there's opportunity within your parameters that you set as a real estate investor, now is always the time. Whether you're in at a 2.5% interest rate, which probably not on investment property ever, or a 10% interest rate, it doesn't matter. You have to be looking. I think that we're going to get a lot of deals out of this. I'm excited that interest rates are going up. It's going to take a lot of the owner occupants out of the market, because they're saying, "Oh, I should have been in when there was 2%. Now I'm not going to do it. It's 6%." Great, be that way. More for me and Scotty. I'm excited that we're going to have more opportunities to buy there, because it's been challenging for us and a lot of other investors.
Yeah, so we have clients who we've been on a waiting list for a very long period with properties, for clients that are waiting for us to provide enough properties. And so we hope that this changes things. And the way that an owner-occupant values a home versus the way investors do is significantly different. The interest rate is a direct correlation to how much house a homeowner can buy, and it matters a lot. For the investor, especially the cash investor, we look at it as a cold, hard, cash flowing asset. I don't care what the interest rate is. A lot of people don't care what the interest rate is because it's either a good cash flowing asset or it's not. And its value is just a number on a piece of paper because most of the time we are holding everything long term and are enjoying the positive cash flow. Now, a lot of our clients do buy getting a mortgage, and this will limit their cash flow just a touch as interest rates go up. However, you are still at 5% where these numbers work all the way to 8% and all the way up. And if you get scared by these interest rates, then you are going to miss what could be the greatest buying season of all. It's if you can take your emotion out of your investing, it's so helpful. It's very hard to do. But when things are going bumpy and things are uncertain and interest rates are going up, that's when folks like Clint and I get aggressive. We start looking. We start getting ready. We build our coffers up. We make sure we have cash on hand to buy deals. We talk to our banks and we say, hey, if something really big comes along, we need you in our corner, not scared like everybody else. This is the time when Clint and I are ready to step up and be ready for deals, and that's what you should be doing too. And you should continue to buy good cash flowing assets through this period, even through a market drop, which we think there will be a bit of a market drop. We've been very wrong before, but that's just what we feel is coming. There's a lot of
if you believe it for long enough, eventually happens,
you'll eventually be right. But we feel like the market sector, especially that our clients are in, we have some larger deals that are outside of the norm, but our clients are mostly in what would be considered the first-time home buyer market. So most of our clients, we help them invest in single-family homes that are in the first-time home buyer type neighborhoods. What are considered A neighborhoods, some people call them, not that ghetto stuff, not cheap houses, but beginner houses for the first-time home buyer type price point. Well, there's not enough of those houses, even if the rates go up. There's going to be a lot of people that were looking at the $400,000-$500,000, that next level of house that can no longer afford it because the mortgage rates have gone up and now they have to buy down. We think there's going to be added pressure to that segment. So for all we know, there might not be a drop in that segment even while the rest of the world burns. There's some economists who are saying that. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know. My point is that just be ready to keep investing through this. This is not the time to sit on the sidelines. This is the time to gear up, put on your armor, toughen yourself up, and be ready to slog through it. As Warren Buffett said,
when there's blood in the streets, buy.
Be ready to buy.
There's not blood in the streets yet. I mean, we've seen, the market come back, 15%? I'm just throwing that number out of thin air, and I'm trying to do the.
I saw for the year it's down like 17%, I think.
Closer to 20. So we're close to 30 on the Dow Jones. I think we were up closer to 36 at one time. So that would be close to 20%.
Yeah.
Right at 20%.
Bitcoin is down, 50%, 100% or something?
I don't follow Bitcoin. Yeah. I'm not hip
either.
or cool. I think that's something all the cool kids do.
My gold and silver's down a little bit.
It's Bitcoin and vape.
Yeah. You guys want to go out on the back porch and Bitcoin and vape? Is that how you think the kids today talk?
It's something like that, I don't know. I don't know.
So you don't Venmo people Bitcoin to pay for things or anything?
No, I don't even really know what Venmo is. No. I know that my wife's paid a babysitter and by Venmo before, but that's really all I know. It's funny. I still feel cool and hip, but I guess I'm not cool and hip.
I just thought about the narrator's voice overhead going, and he's not.
I know. It happens, man.
Yeah.
It's just you get up, you walk down the street a few times, and rock and roll and cigarettes aren't cool anymore.
Reminds me of that Batman quote. You live long enough to become the bad guy.
That's right.
Luckily, we've lived long enough to no longer be cool.
No country for old men.
Yeah.
It's so true. But no, when it comes to investing, I proudly wear the old fuddy-duddy hat. I'm cool with that. That's fine. I'm tired. This market has seen a lot of competition that I'm sick of.
For sure.
I mean, both in investors that have no business being in our market, and we're in a constant fight with owner occupants. That's a battle people like us are going to lose all the time.
Right.
I mean, so yeah, you're going to see I think the fewest mortgage applications in however many years.
Yeah.
Just that info just dropped.
There's a cooling off.
It's happening.
And so what we're doing, point one is it's okay to make an equity play on some of your assets. You want to hold on to your core stuff, but we're in a way making a play, ringing the register on some things. We're doing it a little differently than most people, but we have some stuff that's kind of oddball things. We own a lot of like vacant lots and VRBO properties and some weird stuff that just doesn't fit our core. Of
old
what
office
we do.
buildings.
Old office buildings, some other weird stuff. We're cleaning it all up. So that's what we're doing. We're cleaning it all up, and we're going to be streamlined because we feel like now's the time to do that. And we agree that now is the time. If you wanted to make an equity play on your highest appreciating asset, ring the register, fine. But just don't go selling off your core assets because you don't know when you'll be able to buy in. Do we think that the market is going to go down? Yes, but are rates going to go up with it? Yeah, probably. And you'll end up with, if you want to add rentals, then you'll end up with a higher interest rate. You'll buy in for a little cheaper, but it'll be a wash, and you'll be right back where you are. And the only people that made money are the realtors who helped you and made commissions and the mortgage brokers and all of those things, and you're right back where you started. So hold on to those core assets. Don't let fear make you wipe out your portfolio in fear of what's coming. In fact, the opposite. Be ready. Set yourself up, get your books clean, be ready to add more. Don't be scared of these interest rates. My first investment property loans were at 9%, and the numbers worked, and they will continue to work, especially if there's a market pullback in pricing, because rents have increased so much over the last 5 years, but more specifically the last 12 to 24 months, they've really increased. And I've
never seen anything like it in our market. I mean, never, even close to.
And I've yet to see an economist say that they expect those to go down at all through this. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's the opposite. Of all of the things they don't expect to drop are gas prices, rents, and those kinds of things. So,
gas prices got to drop, don't they?
Oh yeah, sorry, gas prices do. They have to. I mean,
I drove.
They don't have to.
We have a lot of compact sized trucks here at the office, and I had to drive one the other day, hauling some more trash out of my house, But it cost $100 for that little compact truck, to fill it up. It's crazy.
I know. Yeah, we've got a fleet of vehicles, through our property management company, our maintenance companies, and all of these others. I would love. Do you see our gas bill? I've never seen it.
It was $12,000 last month.
$12,000 a month, and what was it a year ago? Half that?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's going to start hurting people, man.
And we have more people now, but yeah, it's more than doubled.
So you and I spend $12,000 a month on gas. That's our gasoline bill every month.
Gasoline bill.
God, that's mind blowing.
Yeah, just for the gas in cars. That does make you feel like the sky is falling.
Right.
Right.
It's weird because, I'll be honest, I've never paid attention to gas prices, and people, I go back to thinking, whenever I was a kid, you knew my dad, too, oh, we can't stop here and get gas. Gas is $1.54. We ain't paying that, And so, but then we drive and almost run out of gas and risk life and limb to get it for $1.49
right.
I'd never paid attention to gas prices. I need gas. I just pull in and I get it. I get the points at Speedway. We get the points at Speedway, so I don't care if Speedway's $2 more. That's where I stop.
Yeah, I always feel guilty
but now I'm looking.
I feel guilty because I'm always the last to know that gas prices have gone up because I literally don't even look. I just fill the car.
Well, it's because you live in a little bubble that's about 4 miles big, and you don't go outside of it.
That's true.
So it's totally different. In the real world where other people
have to drive
more
places
than 4 or 5 miles, we think about it.
Well, when I fill up once a year,
it's funny because Scott and I we had the exact same car, GMC Yukon, and I think you have 25,000 miles?
It's now up to 40. And when he says we have the exact same car, he means we went to the dealership and said, do you have 2 matching Yukon Denali's that are black? And he said yes and said, okay, we'll take those two. These aren't, we just didn't happen to have very similar cars. We went there and bought them the same day.
Exact same thing.
Yeah.
But I just had to get rid of mine.
Right.
And I had like 110,000 miles
Right.
on it. You have 40.
40, I think. And of those 40,000 miles, I think 10,000 are yours.
Because we switched at one time because
Yeah.
I was beating you on mileage.
Right.
And we switched it up. It's crazy. You do
Right.
live in a bubble, man. There's a whole world out there.
Oh, I don't need that.
That's,
Why would I need that? Have you seen my house?
discover.
Have you seen my yard?
I have. You got a killer yard.
I'm not going anywhere. Got
But
everything I need.
there's other restaurants outside of 4 miles outside your house.
No. I don't think so. I haven't seen them.
Yeah. It's like
I'll take your word for it.
It's like your own version of like the Truman Show.
It is. When I walk into a restaurant, I was telling our producer who I went to lunch with today, I said, I will be shocked if no one says hello to me when I walk into a restaurant. It's not because I think I'm like Mr. Big Time. It's because I go to the same places over and over and have for 45 years.
Yeah. I'm not going to knock you too much. Some people smoke crack.
Right.
You just don't get outside of your bubble.
I don't.
It's all good.
Hey, I'm moving to your hometown when I retire, so I don't know why you're making fun of me because you get it. You understand that part.
I do. That's true.
I'm moving to Rockport. I'm moving to
That's true.
Rockport, Indiana, and I'm going to live there where everybody knows each other's name, and it's the way we're supposed to live, and people are kind to each other.
We did a podcast there last week.
We did.
Make sure you check it out. But yeah, going back to our topic and our discussion, I do believe that the sky is falling in certain areas, like the gas prices. We're in the market for bunk beds at our house for our girls, and they said it was like 6 months to get the bunk bed. And I was like, well, by the time the bunk bed gets in, my kids aren't going to want bunk beds anymore. It's bananas. The world is crazy. However, when it comes to this interest rates and all this other stuff, I'm pretty stoked about it. Like I said, it's I'm tired of competing with all these people, and I'm ready for these deals to kind of kick in. We live in a very payment-driven society, and I think this is very important to touch on. Homeowners don't necessarily look at value or what their debt is to future value. They're looking at a payment. That's it. They're looking at, I'm able to get in at a $1 million house with a 2% rate, and this is my payment.
Yeah, they work backwards, and then it's the same with cars. You say, okay, I can afford $600 a month, so how much house can I afford? And they go to a mortgage broker and they say that. And the mortgage broker says, no, you can not only afford $600 a month, but you actually can afford $700 a month. And they extrapolate that out to house, and that's how people pick the value of the home that they should be in. We think that's a disgusting, gross, bad system that creates people who are always on the edge of failure and always under stress and have more debt than they should. We believe more in the way that our grandfathers did it, which is when they needed a new car, they saved up for 11 years until they had enough to go to the dealership and buy the car. There's nothing wrong with living that way. It's gone. However, when these interest rates go up, it's going to affect the owner-occupant market significantly. We know that. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at the trends, to look at history and know what it's going to do to it. But investment real estate, when rates go up, it doesn't necessarily kill it. We are way under the window. Investment real estate is based on cash flow. It's at its core. That's what it is. It's a cap rate. And cap rates, when you calculate them, there is no interest rate involved in the cap rate calculation. It's not how investment real estate works. So it doesn't affect investment real estate as much. It affects it a little. Don't get me wrong. A lot of investors use leverage in order to buy, and the power of their leverage just became less as the interest rates goes up. However, at its core, investment real estate isn't as driven by the wind of interest rates as the rest. And it shouldn't be, because at the end of the day, we're looking at cash flow. And if the cash flow numbers work, if you're a long-term cash flow investor, which is, if you're listening to our show, then you already are. We know that's what you believe in, just like we do. Any conservative real estate investor believes in cash flowing assets. It's just the way to go for that. And so that's what you're looking at. And you should just be ready to ride this out. And as everybody else runs around with their hair on fire saying the sky is falling, you just sit back and enjoy those cash flow as it comes in like we do. We've been through this before. Let's be honest. Clint and I have been through this before. We've adapted before. We were both in real estate. I got into real estate in 1998. That's before the 2008 bubble. So we've seen ups and downs beyond just that one. Before that, there was some blips. After that, there's been ups, false starts. We've seen a lot of this. What's changed in my philosophy as far as cash flowing investments? Absolutely nothing. I don't care what year it was. I would still say the same thing. If it's a good asset in a good neighborhood and the cash flow numbers work now, then it works. It's as simple as that. You don't have to complicate it and say, well, it might be worth less in a few years. I don't care what it's worth in a few years. Don't get me wrong. I don't want my properties to lose value, but at the same time, I'm all about buying cash flowing assets in good areas and damn the rest.
When I'm going to switch gears just a little bit, thinking about these interest rates, and I'm sitting here trying to think like what area is going to have the most opportunity. When you and I first got into real estate, 20 years ago, I remember there being like 20 houses for the year in the Metropolitan Indianapolis Board of Realtors that sold for $1 million or more. Like 20 for the year. And now, I we could find out pretty quickly. It would be, 100 times that. It's or 50 times that. It's a bunch. So I'm just sitting here thinking, that's kind of a good benchmark to go off of, the $1 million. And in our market, that's a luxury home. That's a luxury home. In our market. For all of our clients and listeners out in California, the Bay Area, $1 million is a starter home. It's hard to imagine.
Or a vacant lot.
But so just think about that, like all the $1 million plus homes that have sold in our market. Think of what the difference is on the interest rate, though, and what opportunities this could provide. So the difference, it's easy math, between 2 and 5% is $30,000 of interest a year. Mm-hmm. Just think of that. You're talking some serious money. Mm-hmm. The $2,500-ish a month payment, suppose we live in a very payment-driven society, difference. What is people that are able to afford $1 million, this is a guess, what do you think the average household income is for people in Indianapolis that could afford?
Oh, I think it's way lower than it should be, but I think
150?
No, I think it's 200.
200?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is, I think it should be. I think you need to make $400,000 a year minimum if you're looking at $1 million.
Okay, well, say it is
but
200.
That's just me.
I think that's probably relatively accurate. Yeah. I would say, 200 you're going to pay, taxes on it. You're down to 120.
Right.
You subtract out your other living expenses, anything else that you have. The expenses that your kids have for schooling. Right. Whatever. And you look at $2,500. A month difference. There's going to be so many fewer people that can afford, this higher price, real estate. And I'm talking about our market.
Right. Well, let me pause you there.
I think that, $500,000+ homes in Indianapolis, there's going to be a lot of buying opportunity.
Well, let me pause you there and throw this scenario in there too, which is a lot of the people who did buy those that are making $200,000 a year and bought $1 million homes because they can afford the payment are on 5-year ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages. And at the end of 5 years coming up, as their mortgage adjusts from 2% to 6%, mm-hmm. they are going to immediately have to sell the house. And if the market is cooled by then, which it probably will have, they will be foreclosed on. And that is how the cycle starts. That is how the cycle of foreclosures starts.
That's not even a Chicken Little, if Armageddon type scenario.
No, that is what's going to happen.
That is something that is going to happen. Mm-hmm. And you just think of those numbers, and there's going to be a lot of buying opportunities that people have to forget about interest rates. A lot of the people that have bought in at this low interest rates are going to be the people that are going to struggle. There's going to be buying opportunities out there at 5, 6%.
Yep.
It's going to be there. You know, whenever you have these $1 million properties and your pool of buyers goes from this to this, you know, values have one place to go. One place to go.
Your
It's
number
all
of
supply
buyers
and demand.
goes from
It's Econ 101.
Right. Your number of buyers goes from this to this. At the same time, your payment quadruples.
Correct. You know, very interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's. I know we're on this podcast, you know, preaching our real estate advice and you know what our experiences, but this has been worthwhile to me just to sit here and think through these scenarios since we've been talking. There's going to be a lot of opportunity.
There
The
is.
sky is not falling.
Yeah.
People need to lace up their shoes and get ready to get in the game.
Correct. Sell off some asset if you some of your good assets that have equity gains if you wanted to be cash rich during this and be ready for what's coming. Clint and I have done that a little bit with some of our stuff. We are holding on to our core assets. We are not looking to shrink down the number of properties we own. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. We are poised to take advantage and buy as the market drops. And we're going to just continue to look for good cash flowing assets like we always do. And as they come along, we're going to buy them. And we're going to pass them on to our clients who are looking for them too. And that's what the smart investor should be doing. So get ready to buckle in your seatbelt, put on your brave boy pants, and come dive into the deep end with us because it's about to get fun over these next few years.
The sky is not falling. I love it, man. It's time to get in the game.
Yep.
I'm excited. We're fear mongers on here all the time, you know, but as people are saying the sky is falling, do you see our optimism changing? You know, when you're not going with the norm, a lot of time you're in the right spot. He's said it many times. Warren Buffett said, when there's blood in the streets, buy, buy, buy. Look for the blood. There's opportunities out there. Hey, keep listening to the Homeboys. We love doing this. Check us out at our website, homeboyspodcast.com. Everything's there, baby. Success is achievable. Till next time, happy investing.
Love the energy.
Boom! Yeah!
Hell yeah.